or Brandon Gleeson. Um, you find out, big surprise, that he's actually a crooked CIA agent who orchestrated the whole thing. Because it turns out Denzel Washington didn't really go rogue. He actually went on the run because he has this little flash drive that contains the names of crooked CIA agents, and these other crooked CIA agents are trying to kill Denzel Washington for that. And I forgot the guy's name. I think his name was Brandon Gleeson or Brian Gleeson. I don't remember. I think his last name is Gleason, though. You find out he's a bad guy, and it's really predictable. You know he's the villain. I mean, watching the trailer, I guessed it's going to be him. He's going to be in on it, so of course I was right. Um, and you get to the ending. Now, in the ending, they end up in another safe house, and there's another CIA guy watching it, but he turns out to be a bad guy, too. And I remember you actually get a pretty decent fight between this guy and Ryan Reynolds, which was pretty good. Um, and then in the end, Denzel Washington, of course, he comes back and he, uh, fuck, what was it? The ending is also really anticlimactic. Denzel Washington, he blows up like one car, he shoots a couple of the other bad guys, and then he gets into like a shootout with. Uh, Again, I don't know his first name. I'm just gonna call him Brian Gleason, and they get into the shootout. Denzel Washington gets shot, but he still kills him in the end. And Denzel Washington's character actually does die in the end, which that was kind of lame. And he gives Ryan Reynolds the flash drive, and Ryan Reynolds in the end he exposes all those crooked CIA agents at the end of the movie. So I mean, Safe House. This one was really disappointing because I really was hoping that it would be a solid buddy action movie, and there's no chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington whatsoever. There's no attempt at trying to be funny. There's no humor in this movie. It takes itself very seriously, so there's no back and forth between the two actors, which was disappointing. And really, the movie is it's forgettable. Like I said, I was even struggling to remember what happened. No real memorable action sequences, none of that. So, Safe House, you know, would I recommend watching it? Maybe. Again, these are all sort of maybes. Maybe you could sit down and watch them for free if you can find them somewhere or at a really cheap price. But yeah, Safe House, unfortunately, just a very disappointing, very lame, and forgettable movie. And next, we move on to my best of list. When I talked about Jack Reacher, I mentioned another popular book character that got his own movie, but I didn't like as much. I was talking about Alex Cross, starring Tyler Perry. I decided to check this movie out after a good guy on here, Rambo Rap for Life. He reviewed the film. He sort of praised the movie, said it was actually really solid, and then Tyler Perry did a good job. So I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. I was downloading a bunch of different movies at that time anyway, so I downloaded Alex Cross on a torrent, and I saw the movie. Really was not impressed that much. I mean, it's not just because the movie is a generic, typical thriller. I don't really care if a movie's generic or typical as long as there's something there that keeps me invested and something that keeps me sort of going throughout the film. And Alex Cross just wasn't much of anything. I mean, it was predictable. It was mediocre. And really, for me, the more I think about it, the less I like Tyler Perry in this role. And I do think that if they had gone with Idris Elba, like they were planning on, I would like the movie a little bit more. It probably would be on my honorable mentions, maybe. But there's also, besides that, there's some things about the movie that kind of bugged me a little bit. For instance, that scene where Alex Cross first sees Matthew Fox's character. Okay, he looks at him one time, but when they're back in the office, Alex Cross, despite the fact that he just saw him one time, is able to create this incredible criminal profile of Matthew Fox's character. He's ex-military, he's this, and he's that. It's like, how did you come up with that after one look? And there's never an explanation for it. There's never like, well, he's ex-military because I saw a tattoo on it. There was a military standard tattoo or something like that. No explanation. whatsoever. He just sort of comes up with that. And at the end, when Matthew Fox is on the train, how does he know he's going to be on the train? I would have let that go if there was a little bit of an explanation. Like, he's not going to be.